Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I already smoked 2 joints, and I still don't think I'm high enough to revisit this. Matilda is the 1996 girl boss film based on a book of the same name. Personally, I have never read the book, because unlike Matilda, when I was abused, I didn't teach myself how to read, I just turned to rainbow marshmallows in the Disney Channel. This movie, directed and narrated by Danny DeVito, focuses on young girl boss Matilda Wormwood. Matilda is played by Mara Wilson, who got her start in acting doing commercials as a child. I learned this from watching her eat a pickle with Kim Possible.
Yeah, I remember this. This is my Pound Puppies commercial.
If I were to summarize the movie Matilda in one word, it would simply be girl boss baddie bestie. Add it to the dictionary. The film was released theatrically in the States on August 2nd, 1996. The movie received positive reviews, although the film was commercially unsuccessful, grossing only $33.5 million on a $36 million budget. They technically lost money making Matilda, although syndication in later years allowed new audiences, generation after generation, to fall in love with Matilda. I'm so curious as to what it was like seeing Matilda in the theaters in 1996. If you saw Matilda in the theaters, like, what was it like? If you were alive... or if you were dead and you came back to life, leave a comment, because I would like to hear that story too. I think the first time I ever watched Matilda was probably on ABC Family. Matilda was always one of those movies where no matter what time of year it came on or what channel it came on, I could always sit down and watch it all the way through. It's just so specifically memorable and so iconic. As someone who had abusive parents as well as Matilda's, who were portrayed on screen as being very abusive, it was really inspiring, not only to me, but I'm sure to tons of kids around the world. I'm sure tons of people were inspired, like I was, by the concept of being, like, you know, not loved by your family members, essentially, and having that manifest in some kind of magical powers. Like, that concept is so beautiful. And although, sure, we may not have, telekinesis, a lot of the most successful artists do have this kind of magic, and I feel like that magic comes from it comes from coping. This sort of magic of, like, art comes from coping, essentially. I just think it's beautiful. Clearly, we're gonna see that Matilda's parents were bad people. But, was Matilda also kind of mean? I mean, if you think about it, this is kind of like a G-rated Carrie origin story. Boo-doo-doo-doo-boo-boo-boo. Boom ba doo ba doo boo boo boo. Doo 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 doo. Carrie adaptation for children, essentially. And while Matilda's acts may seem justified in the moment, I have questions. And now that I'm revisiting this all these years later, I'm starting to wonder if maybe Matilda's parents were onto something. Okay, let's dive into this movie.
Everyone is born, but not everyone is born the same. Some will grow to be butchers or bakers or candlestick makers. Some will only be really good at making Jell-O salad.
Those are the 4 types of people. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, being good at making Jell-O salad. I'm a candlestick maker, well, with like a butcher rising.
One way or another, though, every human being is unique, for better or for worse.
Me.
A waste of time.
And painful.
And expensive. $5,000? I'm not paying it. What are they gonna do, repossess the kid?
It cost $5,000 to give birth to Matilda, but today it would cost about $16,000 at least to give birth. And that doesn't even go into, like, there's no maternal leave for a lot of parents in the American workforce. In some countries, they pay women to take time off to raise their child, and ultimately that seems to do better in society because those people seem to have, like, lower crime rates and, like, you know, things like that. But what do I know? Basically, I agree with the parents. That was too much money, but also it could have been more. Count your blessings. In this moment, we see Matilda getting a concussion as a baby, which leads us to believe that this entire movie is a figment of her imagination. They're flinging her around like it's a carnival ride.
Harry and Zinnia Wormwood lived in a very nice neighborhood, in a very nice house, but they were not really very nice people.
Oh, they forgot Matilda. Go get her.
The Wormwoods were so wrapped up in their own silly lives that they barely noticed they had a daughter. Had they paid any attention to her at all, they'd have realized she was a rather extraordinary child.
Gosh, Matilda, now look what you did.
They named her Matilda.
If my child wrote their name that young, no. Burn it. Kill it with fire. It's like those dogs on TikTok that use buttons to communicate. I don't like that.
Babies. You're better off raising tomatoes.
Better off raising tomatoes.
As time went by, she developed a sense of style.
We call that swag around these parts.
Every morning, Matilda's older brother Michael went to school.
Come on, get out of here.
Her father went to work selling used cars
Make money.
for unfair prices. Matilda was left alone. That was how she liked it.
Humbly, 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 to reach out my heart. Humbly, 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 humbly. When I tell you to humbly, humbly, will make me a plate. Golden ham. She got a flower picked and everything.
One night, she got up her courage and asked her father for something she desperately wanted. A book? What do you want a book for?
To read.
To read? Why would you want to read when you got the television set sitting right in front of you? There's nothing you can get from a book that you can't get from a television faster.
I mean, points were made.
The next morning, after her parents left, Matilda set off in search of a book.
They have everything they need right now. They're kind of wealthy for 1996 standards, I would say. She could be watching TV and she's like, I just want to read. Can't you just be grateful? We paid $5,000 to have you. I love this scene. I love how it's like shot from Matilda's perspective, so it's like the desk just looks huge.
Where are the children's books, please?
In that room right over there. Would you like me to pick you out one with lots of pictures in it?
No, thank you. I'm sure I can manage.
She said, all right, she can manage. That librarian had to look like, she's the child we've been looking for. Her blood will be perfect on the first full moon.
Every day, as soon as her mother went to bingo, Matilda walked the 10 blocks to the library.
Like, this scene introduced me to the library and the concept of libraries. There was a library like 2 blocks from my house, so I walked over, a little 8-year-old being like, yes ma'am, I am Matilda. I am going to get as many books as I would like. Turns out libraries have a limit on books and movies you could check out, and usually it's like 10. You can only get like 10 books. So I got like 10 books. I would look at them and then I would go back and get 10 more. And then I discovered the computers were there and I started doing internet things at the library.
So Matilda's strong young mind continued to grow. Where'd all this come from?
Library.
Quite a lot of books, honestly. Matilda, quit hogging all the books. There's other kids that want to read too. Apparently you're in some kind of magical superhero town. Share.
You've never set foot in a library. You're only 4 years old.
6.5.
You're 4.
6.5.
How old is Matilda?
4. I'm 6.5, Mommy. 5 then.
The wife in this was actually Danny DeVito's wife at the time. I don't know if they're still married. I think they are. If they're not, I'm so sorry. That's why they have such good chemistry.
We sell some cars today, honey-do.
Did we? Mwah.
Does that mean I can get that new TV? Harry!
What was my profit for the day?
Can you repeat the last one? $10,265.
If you're being smart with me, young lady, you're going to be punished.
punished for being smart?
That's how America works, honey. You gotta learn. You get punished for being smart around these parts.
When a person is bad, that person has to be taught a lesson.
In the next scene, we see Matilda put peroxide in her dad's hair oil to chemically poison him. And we laugh as Matilda gets her first kill. No, wait, he's fine. And apparently he's being tracked by the FBI because he's using stolen car parts and illegally turning back the dial on engine number trackers mileage. Hot Wheels.
You're a crook.
What?
This is illegal.
Then here comes Vibe Kill Matilda. This is illegal. Okay, Narc. Matilda is not invited to the sesh. Just pointing that out right now. Matilda then glues her dad's hat to his head using super glue, which is apparently strong enough to hold a bumper onto a car. There's a lot of physical comedy of them trying to pull this hat off the dad's head.
Just a minute. I'm gonna get this hat off. I'm pulling it.
Apparently the waiter in this scene who catches all of the menus is an actual professional juggler and would juggle a bunch in between takes. Later at home, Matilda gets told some simple instructions. Sit down, shut up, and watch Sticky with Mickey.
Are you ready to get sticky with Mickey?
Shut your light off.
But she refuses and instead decides to read a story about animal murder.
Moby, what? This is filth, trash.
The father obviously just discovered the inhumane ways that whales are treated at SeaWorld and is very angry. Then Matilda blows up the TV.
I didn't do it.
I wish I could have done that in 2020. If only. Oh shit, here comes Trunchbull.
Can you service me?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Welcome to
Oh
Wormwood
shit, Trunchbull.
My school is a model of discipline. Use the rod, beat the child. That's my motto.
Terrific motto.
Use the rod, beat the child. Funny, that's my motto too. Matilda then goes to her first day of school. And that's when Matilda gets introduced to not only the Trunchbull, but also Lavender, her iconic best friend. We stand Lavender in this house.
I'm Matilda. Lavender.
Ate 2 M&Ms during her lesson.
And she caught him? Of course.
I need Miss Trunchbull as a dietitian. Throw me out the second story window when I pick up my third peanut butter cookie of the hour. Use the rod, beat the child. Use the rod, beat the child.
Here she comes.
Fresh meat.
Me when I see a plant on sale at the plant store. Me anytime someone gives me a compliment at a bar.
Fresh meat.
This next scene with the pigtails. To get the shot of her, like, looking down at the camera, they put metal rods in her braids and then put that onto the camera and then, like, swung her around.
Did you say butt?
Think she'll make the fence? Can we close one?
And she didn't make the fence. Ah, man. Apparently Miss Trunchbull would stay in character in between takes to keep the children afraid of her and have the most authentic reaction as possible, and I think it worked.
What's my teacher like?
Miss Honey was a wonderful teacher and a friend to everyone. But her life was not as simple and beautiful as it seemed. Miss Honey had a deep, dark secret.
She was a dom in the BDSM community.
She did not let it interfere with her teaching.
Next, we see Matilda showing off her human calculator skills
4,927.
and get the iconic Miss Honey removing her glasses meme.
Wow.
Miss Honey is so excited that she tells Miss Trunchbull about this money-making opportunity.
Almost got you. Matilda Wormwood is a very sweet girl. And very bright.
A bright child?
Yes, she can multiply large sums in her head.
So can a calculator.
Points continue to be made.
Listen to me, Jen.
Am I the only one who didn't realize Miss Honey's name is Jen?
The distance the shot put goes depends upon the effort you put into it. Perspiration! If you can't handle the little brat, I'll lock her in the chokey!
Real hot girl shit. Miss Honey then makes a house call and tells Matilda's parents that she's a child prodigy, blah, blah, blah.
I really feel with private instruction that she'd be ready for college in just a few short years.
Look, Miss Snit, a girl does not get anywhere by acting intelligent. I mean, take a look at you and me.
You chose books. I chose looks. Why not both?
A wonderful husband, and you were slaving away teaching snot-nosed children their ABCs.
Miss Honey then says the same thing I said to the guy at Panera when I told him that the bread bowls could also be bread hats with the right attitude.
Dear, I can see we're not going to agree, are we?
One.
How do I know? You shut it off.
Was it my fault that she came in the middle of the fight?
Up to hippity-hop. The entire school will go to the assembly room immediately.
Side note, I love how the speaker moves like it does in cartoons. Can we bring that back? Was that ever a thing? I love that. It's so much more fun. It makes me feel like inanimate objects are alive and can strike back at us at any time. An assembly is called, and Bruce Bogtrotter then gets the best punishment the world has seen to date.
Cake. Chocolate cake. You slithered like a serpent.
All of these bitches are snakes. This little thief slithered in like a snake.
And it was the most scrumptious cake in the entire world.
My mom's is better. Drag her.
It is it? How can you be sure unless you have another piece?
The Trunchbull then stabs Bruce and his bloody body falls into the cake. She eats Bruce and the cake as the kids watch. Not really, but I hope that's what happens in the Netflix adaptation. Is it going to be like a dark adaptation? The Chilling Adventures of Matilda. Apparently Netflix is adapting the Broadway show, I believe, into a TV show or something coming to a screen near you in 2022. Anyways, back to eating blood cakes.
Cookie!
She made this cake just for you to have on your very own. Her sweat and blood went into this cake, and you will not leave this platform until you have consumed the entire confection. Entire confection.
Poor Brucey.
Poor Brucey.
Eat that cake. Eat that cake. I got the salt. I got the butter. Warm cocoa. Needs milk. Half cup pure vanilla. Back at home, dinner is served. It's marshmallow shiskabobs. I want to be in this family. The next day, we meet our newt friend. Apparently, 3 newts were cast to play this newt, and their names are Mr. Speaker, Sir Isaac, and Wayne, in reference to Newt Gingrich, Sir Isaac Newton, and Wayne Newton. How fun. So the Trunchbull is mad that Matilda's dad's car broke down, so she puts Matilda in the chokey.
The apple never rots far from the tree.
As she heads to class, Icon Lavender is over here putting the newt in the water jar. So Trunchbull's talking about something, and Miss Honey breaks Matilda out of the chokey.
Are you okay?
Next time I tell you to empty your pocket, you'll do it faster, won't you?
Excuse me, Trunchbull.
Miss Honey, this could be the most interesting thing you've ever done.
Then Miss Trunchbull gives a rant about feminism.
Why are all these women married?
And drinks a newt.
Small children take so long to grow up.
It's a snake. It's a snake.
Miss Trunchbull then gives a speech about, like, being God, and Matilda uses her godlike powers to flick the newt onto the Trunchbull.
I am God!
Miss Honey, I did it.
You did what?
I made the glass tip over.
It's wonderful you feel so powerful. Many people don't feel powerful at all. It's all right, Matilda.
After school, Matilda and Miss Honey are walking, and Miss Honey is telling a story to Matilda about this little girl, and she had the death of both of her parents,
Her mother died. Her father died.
and it was real sad.
The end is happier.
This is a cottage from your story.
Yes.
A young woman is you. But then, no.
Yes. And Trunchbull.
They have tea and decide to spy on Miss Trunchbull and get the tea on what she is afraid of.
She's afraid of a cat.
Black cats. She's very superstitious.
I read somewhere that black cats get put up for adoption more than cats of like any other color because people get them during Halloween and then they like get rid of them and people are superstitious about them and there's like a whole thing with black cats. So anyways, if you see a black cat, give it a pet for me. Thanks.
Poor kitty.
Oh, he's all right.
Meanwhile, the Trunchbull's car breaks down while Matilda and Miss Honey are breaking into the Trunchbull's house.
Let's go get your treasures.
No, Matilda.
Well, she's gone.
Matilda!
Miss Honey!
My house. Father's chocolate box.
Much too good for children.
I don't know what it is about this scene, but as a kid, I could never figure out what she was saying. I don't know if I was so distracted by like the grossness of her mouth. Almost as good as children. Munching 'cause I'm chillin'. I don't know what I couldn't figure it out. No matter how many times I watched this movie as a kid, I was like, Mooshakika Boogan. Like, I don't know, it was sim talk to me. Apparently, she's saying much too good for children. Much too good for children. Matilda then displays mean girl behavior by scaring Miss Honey in the house. And Karma gets back at her by having the Trunchbull come in and scare both of them.
What? You useless used car salesman scum! I want you around here now with another car! Yes, I know what caveat emptor means, you low-life liar! I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna burn down your showroom, I'm gonna take that no-good jalopy you sold me and shove it up your bazooka! When I finish with you, you're gonna look like roadkill!
This whole sequence is still terrifying to watch.
Shouldn't we hide or something?
Yeah, go to the end of the hall, down the stairs and out the kitchen door. I'll distract her.
Who's in my house?
It's so well executed the way they run and almost get caught and then create a distraction. And then the Trunchbull like Hulk jumps down into the living room. And then Matilda like Spider-Man's under the table. Like, I still get scared watching it. I was curious about the 1972 Olympics because of the Trunchbull's shirt. There were some people held captive by terrorists. It was a real tragedy. But for the sake of this video and the joke, I'm going to assume that it was because the Trunchbull was involved somehow. Rest in peace to everybody who lost their lives. Anyways, Matilda has magical powers.
I'm gonna give you a tanning like you never heard in your life! My word is my law! Your law!
Woo! Magic. She can just shoot things out of her fingers. Bazoom! Magic. Bazoom! Magic.
All she had to do was practice. You're a little cheat. You're a wormwood. It's time you started acting like one. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little.
Far from the tree.
There's something wrong with
I'm right,
that
you're
girl.
wrong.
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. 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 Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Matilda has magic, and her first trick is to take down the FBI.
You two men are gonna be in a lot of trouble very soon.
It's the female minor. Aren't you supposed to be in school, young lady?
I really hope you have a search warrant. According to a constitutional law book I read in the library, if you don't have one, you could lose your job or even go to federal prison.
It's your father who's going to federal prison.
There's another crime in the making. Your car is about to run a stop sign.
So Matilda goes out and causes a bunch of havoc at the Trunchbull's house.
Leave me alone!
She makes her think the ghost of Miss Honey's dad is back. And ultimately kind of gets Trunchbull to confess to killing Magnus, but like with her eyes. It's so interesting how they do that. The acting here is really good. This whole scene is like really well done.
Miss Honey, you'll never believe what I got you.
Matilda.
Oh, I also brought you this. I ate mine last night.
I will be teaching your class today.
Miss Honey's really scared about the Trunchbull seeking revenge, but Matilda's not so scared.
Calm down, Miss Honey, really. It's gonna be okay, I promise.
Matilda shows Miss Honey her magical powers. Magic! Matilda said, gang gang. So the Trunchbull comes in and starts throwing shit.
Sometimes in life, horrible and unexplainable things happen.
She's pushing desks across like she's fucking angry.
Line across the room, quickly! Run, run, run! Don't keep me waiting! Do any of you recognize this?
Miss Honey's like, how'd you find that? It's a chastity belt for Mr. Honey. Ooh.
Let's play a game, shall we? Who was wearing a pretty red hair ribbon yesterday? Who does this disgusting ribbon belong to? You will be put away in a place where not even the crows can land their droppings on you.
If you think about it, that's kind of like most places. Where are you frequenting that crows are constantly pooping on you? Get out of the woods.
Look.
So apparently for the chalk scene, they had someone using a magnetized piece of chalk and writing the words on the opposite side of the chalkboard. Isn't that crazy? Practical effects, man. Matilda then beats the Trunchbull with erasers until she dies.
Go, babies. Go, babies. Ah.
Oh, no, she's still alive and throwing children. Matilda then makes this boy fly around in some flips and come on back to the classroom and throws the Trunchbull onto a globe and spins her and then throws her against a wall.
Go, babies. Go, babies. Ah. Go, babies.
She then shoots Lavender into the air and then starts an uprising by throwing lunch food at the Trunchbull.
Hey, you guys, look at this.
What will you eat now, children? The sweet and fulfilling taste of freedom.
Let go. Ooh. I didn't know I could do that. Pretty good, huh?
The Trunchbull is ran out of the school. Who's throwing that toilet paper? Oh, sorry, that's my lunch. It was all we had at the house.
And the Trunchbull was gone. Never to be seen or heard from, never to darken a doorway again.
Later, at Miss Honey's house, Melinda's parents come to take her to Guam.
Hey, you! Hey, we're leaving. Come on, let's go. Get in the car, hurry up. Let's wrap up these cookies. Come on, we're leaving. Now.
I'd be happy to walk her home.
Well, nobody will be there. We're moving to Guam. Come on, let's go.
Guam?
Yeah. Daddy's not going to be in the auto business anymore.
I don't want to leave.
The coppers are coming.
Yeah, and we gotta beat the speedboat salesman to the airport.
I love it here. I love my school. It isn't fair. Miss Honey, please don't let them
Get in the car, Melinda.
Matilda.
Whatever.
Miss Honey doesn't want you. Why would she want some snotty, disobedient kid?
Because she's a spectacularly wonderful child and I love her.
Adopt me, Miss Honey. You can adopt me.
Look, I don't have time for all these legalities.
But Michaela has the adoption papers ready.
Hey, where'd you get those? From a book in the library.
Someone should tell the gays where this paper is that Matilda found.
I've had them since I was big enough to Xerox.
Are you hearing this, Harry?
All you have to do is sign them.
Wham bam, you have a kid.
And doing perhaps the first decent thing they ever did for their daughter, the Wormwoods signed the adoption papers.
No courts, no legal process. You just gotta find this form and sign it. So, It's really easy. I don't know what people are complaining about with the adoption process being long and blah, blah, blah.
You're not gonna be calling us for support payments or something like that, huh?
Oh, no. We'll have everything we need. Don't worry.
All right, here. Let's roll.
Ciao.
Miss Honey became principal and all was well. They practiced and danced and she learned to sew, and later Matilda went on to be the first AFAB queen on RuPaul's Drag Race. The movie ends with Matilda reading, but this time she doesn't have to get up. She just waves that little fingy and the book comes right to her. And that's Matilda. What did you think of Matilda? Do you think she was a little mean? Do you agree with me that her parents just wanted her to have some fun and watch Sticky Mickey? It's not that bad. Seems like a fun house. You get to eat marshmallow shiskabobs and watch Sticky Mickey and that's it. You don't even have to go to school. I mean, I don't know. Seems like fun parents to me. I do wish I had magical powers though. The amount of times I tried to wave my little fingies just like Matilda as a kid. I guess it came in handy later. So that's Matilda. I love this movie. I think it's just one of the most magical movies of all time. And I never really thought about it before as being a metaphor for art and using like the bad things that happen to you and coping in, creative ways, and that is your most valuable asset. Like, I think that's kind of what they were trying to say. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I took from it, and I love that. But yeah, I think Matilda was a little mean, but I think she also had a right to me. Every single scene is so iconic. When I rewatched this the first time, I was a little surprised that there was nothing I didn't really, forget that happened. And I think that's a sign of, an iconic movie. Every single scene is rememberable. So visually intricate, the practical effects are great. Apparently Mara Wilson had a lot of issues later as an adult.
And I was always very critical of myself, and especially the way that I look. And I think talking about mental health, mental illness, that's something, that I suffered from for so many years, and I still deal with. And that's definitely something that I think the rest of the world needs to work on, especially, I think, in the United States. We don't have any national health care to begin with, and we certainly don't have anything for mental health. And I think that that's something that we could vastly improve on.
She says to this day that Danny DeVito was an excellent director, an excellent influence on her, and he kept the whole set really light and fun. Aside from the Trunchbull being scary and walking around terrifying the kids, it was a really great set to be on. I think it shows in this movie, because it's just such a fun movie. Apparently in November of 2019, Danny DeVito said that he's always wanted to do a sequel of Matilda, starring Matilda's child. So maybe the Netflix adaptation could have something to do with that? I don't know. Anyways, I loved this movie. I loved watching this. Let me know what you thought about Matilda. Leave a comment and let me know what other movies you want me to cover. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn the little bell notifications on, all of those things, so you don't miss the next time I talk about some magic. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and remember to always stay golden.
I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.